Olengi kungam-san, nabuzu gusu sedan jare. Think the legend in around mixe shoot chat you. The around Ontario tin shoot chebit in the RNAO shoot. Forget on the shoot na Ontario ki Togo yube then that mensha be sokchung yorwa. Bigi sokso tang around pebati yinde Asia nanglo ni tapejin sokso tangbu chat di usere. Digala tenda NP RNAO ki 속수 차와 배진 로규낭로 당부 차디샤 순서 조갈람라 기미즈 기름체 디 강라 조갈람라 임베나 베베지조 나 살론 중교지 렘들와 개가지조 나 살론 중 꿀레 견지제 따든다 RNAO 기 속수 차요와 순서 소소 베베지조 나 살론 중 매버 송사 따 소소라 벽에다 디레기 따 냠용 망보 사요레 딘데인 베인디 수수 투구솔이야 아니 베베지조 나무다다 벽에 장하든 저 계진부지지제 아니자 두분이 된다 벽임라 당신버르샤 다 연계 부니지 뭔가 벽임라 파당지제 베베리 슝다 타니 오차야 안 벽에 시야 딘데기체도 굴레 괜기다 로규직레 디간라 조갈람라기 옆탐버디 수수 주구조 롭달 다야체도 수수 굴레 시오시케 맹간라 되야마 중어체 뇽제 총서와 sonsa tindegi nyamnyung thone jogalamla kale kyapchiche ani kyagalya number cha amji cha chiche an shugo de Canada le pechiche tatenda Ontario ki ngaranzu toge be meshap sokjung ki sozu cha re sonsa di mune mikbe yo bachire samgudo sonsa tring jogalamla ta nyamdo nengme shugo chi nabuzo tolole che sense nang rochi tida nyamdo nga dis shugo samsong nga jeme dunda di nga phayul ya yu songsa ya na so phayu yin ya kunjo ngoto na ai tin yu bin sna shamla chenang lo ko sharu chi an phayu ko ya yang kunjo kang mang mang chi che gi pejin chikin shwen tu che che
ani nge amala ki chite ama aha moment ne chik ende chigresha mugila oh that's too big tippe aburesa ani moment ki sigum la interviews tanga president incoming ra so when I get the responsibility nga sums I'm bringing me so I'm bringing my culture I'm bringing myself ani ngi gembajil kichiti nga ngarang Tibetan traditional dress ko ne do like ani moging alalas but you're not representing Tibetan you're representing the nurses of Ontario and so I looked at her and I said, yes, but that's me representing the nurses of Ontario. And I represent them. That means there are many others that look like me. Yipala, he died because he wanted to give his daughters education and he never took care of himself. Don't take the pressure of going to school and trying to do more and more just because you want to impress people. Do it at your pace. Yeah. Nurses pe mangboda. The Tibetan nurses pe manguda ta nganju clinical pe akuyore khajene nganju compassionate yore chidangne but we also have to look a little beyond our clinical setting where we can influence more people by our leadership and our influence dichinenge di samso that I should be one of the run for the presidency
Well, such a thing, really, jail coachings. Yes. Tangudranazo, Gomazingala, Samdishay, congratulations. And so the RNAO, the president, the Pebada in the Pebatango, and the NP, the Tangudo, President Chow Tangudo Reda. Kazan, ye, Facebook ni Tonsha, Facebook ni Tonsha, ni Pebe Ajlaji. RNAO ki president Charles hangro samsa de wow do samsa khande de steo chawena yama di che chi ani LinkedIn gine
re
link motion bachi ki friend list ani quran la chi register chin
yeah gonda ra first of all I didn't know much about aha movement I didn't know anything about aha movement I'll be honest ani khalchiness in a probably exposure yomara there's so many things on YouTube and unless someone recommends kirangla oh di akpudu ta lana di hagumara ता ngala request chile do oh ajala kera podcast chi chigi melana nehen tos khari podcast ina sans ani pheba din jo Tibetan chick Mark Sunge dinjogi interviewed out chigire so that they can influence other people and tita yakpudu daw samsra and she said about aha moment and so I was like aha moments and I'm like what is that and nge amala kijite ama aha moment ne chick and chick resha you know but kajene nge amla endere pheba YouTuber changmatag blogger changmatag whether she likes it or not she's going to like it because more gabja jigger that pheba dinjala chick program gore kunjo support chigore she's liking every YouTuber and mugila oh that's too big tippe aburesa ani woman gi sigumla interviews so then khandes resams so then when I met you I had still not seen and so ngi line bagonda nga kekku chagu me kharire you have to tell me everything and then kerang gilap to and ngi cousin gilas our moment is so big they did and on Diki Shukla la gangla interview chere so I didn't know and I was like okay that's fine you know it's okay like but then these research chimba I like to go back and prep for what I want to talk about because khane khari dhungye jira it should not be only accidental I think you should always be wise and think about what you want to say because kerangi khane chik dhungye di mi la influence chi sigire mi la no kesi ra di chine so I really wanted to see what it is. So I did see some episodes prior to this interview and I thought it was great.
No, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Dream was je kami chai kuop chang ka uchung sra.
Nice.
Nga zuki den the cameraman kurang ge den the nurse nang chala nang is ra.
Nice.
Kurang ning je ka seng la ni ra so ra. Ta gi mo nang lo le che tis. Indele siu do chas. Koyu de ka usim puche kyuch dream je ko uchung. Kazing anzo acha anzo dim dream interview 마치마다 땡지 토요 고업중사 드디 말랑 항상 로드 디중스 아직라 소소 베베지조 나로 살롱 중교실에면도 갸가지조는 살롱 중 베베지조 나샤
대유 말이요
대그 거메오체 딘데기 소외 나로라야 수수기 보고라 드디 즉 마음보 벽일라 고래라 디디에 소외 숙청부 여버체 디기 디스일라 된다 분이 디스일라 당사를 승부다 양자분이 바탕하기 차시도 디체 아니야 소수기 발라기 미신나노라 강이 테냐 소수 너스라 직 잉슈단 주라 딘즈기 가라 믹스 선한 러슬스라 또 딘즈가 좀 까메 체지 연구해서 모두 되게 동마들라 소소 다 표버체 디나노니 NPG first time 다 RNAO 기 president 차디 소 컨트리더스
nga 숨기도 the like I said, khane chiklavadi samlo tangne lab kores. Di jau responsibility chiklena ra. Di really you have to be committed to it. And ta susu pheba chikres na nga di thengi dura. Nganju when I was younger, I think I was 17. Nga ta nganju gyaga chizol gyaga convent school la dore, gyaga college, Jesuit college la dore. Dito ta nganju tis gugup ragre khachine Tibetan Day or Garamshe Pedu Bombay la Pedu and Anzula chick. You're right, Kuka Ragre and the Jega and la. Did Garamchigi and the songs rat the Tibetan youth and the day or Hashista, Mishunu Douch. Garamchigi sung and the songs. Cannot Pebachik res and the Karangi gares. You always have to keep that in the back of your mind that everything that you do as a Tibetan is going to reflect on your community. And I think that stuck to me when I was 17 because I always, before I do anything, I always want people to feel ra pheba chikreshas ani pheba din jo mi yakpudus laija tangi ngawlai khaza tanda dinge la demba conversation years ni ji neba ji kinga la ki shitu pheba khari resina ti kugab renga pheba nis laegi ani shemba conversation dire khera pheba re pheba din jo chitangne mi yakpo yo sare lae jiwa this is gere kharjani gyar muje ki tanda inde kale mangbo nang lota gonglo ende chumushane tandu mila kiche yakpo she ta changju semba gi korla mi changmala she ani compassion di labki da and so Tibetans are known to be compassionate people not because we are doing anything it's because His Holiness started this ra the modeling the pig chumur ani nganju gyawar muchi gi ende kale gyap ke di nganju di ende waste che ani nganju ti chene that they khadunange di samlo khor de gi oh I'm Tibetan I represent my community as well in a way ra ani ngegi chinai machinai the community gonna reflect chire and that's why I feel like really responsible not only as Tibetan but as an individual right
no cousin the asla me asla stichela
yeah of course
me cousin president ge ta ma kunzo pass chodo didi pebe she didi top didi nangda pi nanglo la didi sunang ande chungs
yeah actually being all a surprise there because nganzuki CEO jira Dr. Doris Grinspan mongim dunga kishi shedu ngemola laimba o nga Sunday you have to give me off Sunday nga ke kuchitu mare nga ngana pugu dinzola Tibetan school la kidugi tanda kandi cholingla ani mogilas what is that and I said it's a Tibetan school we have to send morning la Tibetan language yore gonda la so then she got curious then she started asking me ti khaware ngele the community center it's pebechito nangla kunjogi they are making it work this is called self efficiency we run the whole thing and I did talk to her about nganjugi chizo the khandes lega chigere and why we are so successful nganjugi gengo dinjo phadugi yore nganju shunu dugi yore changma dugi yore zomsa dire yina duga ina yaga ina chama zom there chik gaung chik ke she pha ke she chu ke she socialization nganju pugu tinjo cultural exposure di chama phane ragirsa ani moti thona shado tishula then president banquet la tanga president incoming ra so when I get the responsibility nga sums I'm bringing me so I'm bringing my culture I'm bringing myself ani ngi gemajil kijiti nga ngarang Tibetan traditional dress code to like ani moging alalas but you're not representing Tibetan you're representing the nurses of Ontario and so I looked at her and I said yes but that's me representing the nurses of Ontario and I represent them that means there are many others that look like me there are people of color there are Tibetan people there are people of different race and ethnicity and nga kunjola normalized chigoyos like someone like me can also be a president so she said I don't think that's a good idea and nga CEO like I'm going to wear my Tibetan traditional dress and mogilas okay if that's what you want and mogi surprised her kandi chuling la contact che ani mogilas phone time kunja phone kal goram dus kunja phone yopo kya gyo samara on and Monday Tuesday kunja kish off
re
dingi mudila tayo sare ani actually it was a surprise for me ani ngada inde emotionally overwhelmed just because director Shambaji gilas are you performing with one of the dancers nga ha ku gyo mare dite kajini nga amdo chuba gonde nga amdo ro ani amdo chuba gonde no I'm not what do you mean like and dite pheba chuba gongyo bomoji thosra what is she doing in a samloji course initial president banquet go to do ani jego doji and tashi there get the di changwa to nga the hen person like I was so blown out of my mind but di temde yakbo chung tashi there get tang chigera da toga thabiya jao tang di temde pe yakbo yore khalchene many people came up to me and they said wow we didn't know what Tibetan was what Tibetan performing arts was and I thought that was my aha moment because I thought wow that's why representation is important we have to take ourselves out of we have to take it out and expose ourselves to other people so other people know us when patients talk to us kunjo lagi rakina Filipino re Cambodian re, Vietnamese re. No one says you're Tibetan. We have to educate them what Tibetan is. Unless kunjo Jameson, Parkdale, Etobicoke, and the Ladena mato kunjo hakugunda. That chungma dilagyor ta namgyu midis. Educated meetings, of course, it's a different story. Everyone has a responsibility at every moment to carry a Tibetanness, with pride and also explain to them what it is about.
No.
Did it?
That RNAO ki president into dig mixi tamdang rojora. Tikande damgyur.
Actually, you need to be board of director gangla dewar. Tell me, board of director gangla. The board of director different groups ne legire. First time nga lere region 7 se na Scarborough chonere. Toronto East ki chira dinane nga domne ler. Board of directors gangla.
Odi vishal look yore.
Ha vishal lugire. But some khare chagire sena ta kunjo ming lugira mi shembaji ming lugira kunjo tagire mi shemba disure sena mi ta ko da mo da suina tobgire samejia and kunjo withdraw chisha. So then you get acclaimed. The Tanda presidency di nga acclaimed chai. It was not something that I was looking to do, but there was no one who put their nomination this time for the presidency. Ani me suler opportunity suler ki you are a nurse practitioner now, do you want to run for RNAO? And I said the pitchmur, like it's big responsibility because you have to meet the premier, you have to meet the health minister at different levels, and sometimes you are too much in the limelight. Media khaduna haun chi degre kerangla di chiela interview chie so you really have to be very politically engaged, not for any political party but for the province nala khari chungiore dingala updated they were and available. You have to be available. So nga samstag nga ngarangi full time job ye ani nga khandis chigire sena yungu mare samsra but nga ngarangi hospital gi CEO lage jitu ani director lage jitu it's an honor if you go for it sir. Ani luing nomination luimba, and so then I had two of the other ex-presidents nominate me as well. And it was okay. But di chine lagda ti nganche nangbe chun nanglai opportunity is nangbe chun nanglai di lagda when it comes kirang intention yakpo yo na lamga changma open chagire lai jiwa. So everything started opening up and that was it.
No. Digi the president chadu mixi ki gain structure ro de karki gi
president chadu ta RNAO sina tangila sa it's a policy driven. We have to be non partisan. Nganju di the conservative nai liberal nai NDP nai and de chashin chiyo mar. Ta khari mimang la khari yakpo yore di gangla khran der. So universal health care is something that we have to think about, right? Universal health is in Canada ki shungsebla susu bagune pesha mateche shungi pesha tegior member dinzola the nurse practitioner hospital dinzola and sangmal free. Apparently it's free, but basic is all free, right? The igangla benefits yona the extra chie the yore, but basic sangmal free yor and the gauge mure khachene tandagi political scenario nangla for profit chayagi ninga mangayar healthcare ani kunjogi ta mi chupu dinjola yoga pesha yonge dinjola this treatment loga and the dautegi that khale legior ta di gauge mure khachene nganju mimang chungma dinjo ta refugee ta gengo ta kunjola pesha yomara ani kunjo re kinjo ta nga danda nga of course because I'm working ta nga okay middle class la re ani I can afford to do that for my kids nga benefit yore nga di but nga ngarangi samlo tang na digi mara nga mimangi samlo tang ani gengo dinjo la sutagire kunjo la yomare kunjo lega yomare kunjo nyemagi chupu yana keche logar ra pesha sane share shemba dinjo yomara ani nganju gi chupu ta nganju danda pesha ragi arisen okay nganju for profit chigi la na digi mara we have to think about the others, the immigrants, the refugees, the people who are vulnerable lega menge dinjo basic income chikpu chinge dinjo la nganju samlo tangora. So that's why the organization kunjo gita for not for profit universal health care tang ende gangla kyapcho mangbu chigiyore ani shungi kesi chik dukcha chena njo advocate chigiyore di digi mare slani chiya chode gangne ani then also thoden chikpu directly marta ya environmental health ra the climate change tang tanda scenario ende re ki pesha thama kachina khawani kachigore easy access environment ne kachisho because you don't see the effect right away, right? But nganju di gangne advocacy chi de di ge chumure khachine nganju di earth nangla deora on this planet earth. If it perishes, then what are we gonna do? Right? And you can see khawa as a storm, the tornado, the hurricane, yung dego that this is because of environmental change that's happening. So RNAO do talk about dinjo the lobby chi de jiwa government di pege chumure. Plus we are not only talking about mimangi health and lagyo man nurses health lai lagyo nurses ki education the nurses dinjola health nurse health program chiore so nurse dinjo ta lega mangbo chine burnout chagidwa dinjola khandes nganjo program chigore ani plus a training then internationally educated nurses RNAO ki chokpa digi mangbo lobby chinere da kunjogi college of nurses la shungi push chireta timato mi khashe internationally educated nurses che they yung lo dinge kunjo practice che ragyo mar ta kunjo PSW che and the exploitation ki risk yora so that's why I think it's important ani nga sambala ta ende choba gi lead china you have to have a right leader. You have to have a right representation. So any organization, it has the organization, I think they have 130 or 150 employees. The CEO, the operational tagiyora. As a president, I'm the head of the board of directors. And our only employee is the CEO. So we tell her what to do for the organization. Or where we want people to go, right? Where we want this organization to lobby or advocate. So we will tell her, in conjunction, of course. Hachina more experience pe mangboyor. But the position, and that's why we have a right intention, right mind, compassion, sensitivity. It guides your thought process and it guides how you guide other people on the board of directors. And I feel very grateful that I have that background.
Tanda RNAO tinang suedi nurse lop tu den joy chugora.
Sugiyora.
Chitang tinang lola member nang lola chitang phaba do mangpo yena de.
Mangbota yomare kachene we don't do the pheba kachu yore and the mangbo chigi yomare but nga khare samgidu sina mangbo mer khar chine mere sina it's an additional membership fee but the tax deductible everything is okay but we don't want to invest in anything that is not related to us nganju chito na la ende do and it's me chumma gi samlo common man's thinking process is only like that we come here we want to get our job we do our shifts we go back home we want to sleep and that's it and maybe we'll go to the Tibetan Community Center. That's it. Right? But nganju and it's hopanala jugio mare chitang ne because we are not trained that way. We are very comfortable in what we are doing. I think we need to get out of our comfort space to know what is there, what is outside. And for that, I think I will commend MPP Butila. You know, she started that trend, Mota MPP Ra. And the way she's leveraging her Tibetanness also is very important. So she's doing a great service to the Tibetan community. And I think I admire that about her. But it's not only her responsibility, not only someone else's responsibility. Nganju changmagi mimangi responsibility pheba yisene. Chia me shembala reach out to not just stay with another Tibetan friend. You need to socialize with other people to tell them what you are, right? Di gechmbure samju. And di cheneda thanda Tibetan khazandi doga thamge pumoji najung jile ngala acha di RNAO gi dress really acha kyang RNAO re really ani kyang RNAO members go become a member like ani nganjo shukchmu chadugra in the community gangne and it's important kajin Filipino changma kharichini lagi you are Filipino kajin Filipino mang jane changma gi oh I'm Filipino changma kyungda kunjo chimbu shukchimbu chadugra nganjo ta susu chokba so lagi omare yang susu represent je di ge chimbura
yeah
di chene
yeah nganjo tenda di RNAO ki kola kame mo chungsa nganjo phebe chi zo da chi zo changma nanglo la nganjo mixe ki nurse ranga la toni mangu do atin ajala soso dinanglo la judan jura soso nurse career damdang digi capjong chik mote chena
yeah okay so nga ke di Bombay la ke ro ni pala sakanchila majer ko amdo choni thurang ne ani mangshwa khurangi ta khurangi letu khuran la ta gamike yakko ro khachene amdo choni thurang sina gyana gi petsa chale kunjo gi dialect chama logare kunjo ta shemba amdo tauchi ke gochumar tanda ngi pingya chigni siye tandu ngi pala chone an cham keji chung cham dikke gochumdu ani ngi pala mangchwa gami ende yorangimdo ta kunjo sakangla lega che ande ani kunjo ta ani nge amla thu ani amla ngindo arranged marriage che nge amla to ngari re ani nge amla da pala parala tiskeba lo so my father used to always think he had kids late, right? We were 3 girls and he had his kids late, and so he was always very he adored his 3 daughters. So he khurangi ta lo dunjun batu khurangi lega chidera khari chinesena pugu dinjala education te dondala ani this is my biggest biggest I don't like to use negative words. I just want to say I wish I had my father would have stayed a little bit longer. So kuranga khari chae di thongtuna because it was because of his wish that I became. So he wanted me to go to medicine school, and but he passed away because of colon cancer, because he never had a chance to get himself checked with a doctor or examined, because he was all the time thinking about making money for sending his kids to school, through school. So last 3-4 days, I think that's when we knew he was not well and this and that. And I was 17 at that time. And the ngala medical college, the medical college ki system cheer, central system. So they make you go into MBBS, BAMS, that's Ayurvedic, if you want Ayurvedic, or you do BHMS, that's homeopathic medicine and surgery. Changma doctor chagi. And so I didn't get into MBBS because they asked us for money, donation, some 15 lakhs or something. So we said, oh, we don't have that. Yomari. And then BMS Ayurvedic doj. Ayurvedic chigi melai. Ani BHMS, homeopathic medicine and surgery. Kunjo gingala lumba shemba jila taegi chashichir. So I said, no, I don't want to go. I want to do only in Bombay. And the jil. Nge pala pesamba phamr. Ani nge pal dilo dirata. Didu pala nagi omar. Nagi yores ni nge hako ge omar. Ani nge pala gilare. Oh, I wish you would have gone, but that would have been good for you. You become a doctor. And so I said, it's okay next time. And di lodi palathong. And that was traumatic because nganju Bombay la detu nganju amdo mi nangmi sungma do yomar. Ta kunjo gaungi uchinira dima do yomar ta pheba. And so I had to go in the ambulance when I was 17 and then I had to call everyone. So that's a big responsibility. And namgyu kharicha nangki phu ta indichi yona yaga do. But nga phumo genshore and nga thangma amang induchore ama was not in a state to look, so I had to literally run in the ambulance, and that was my first exposure to what healthcare meant. My father was there and they said he passed away next day. They said he had cancer and he was never diagnosed and he was never treated. That was a big shock, like for me. Kajine ngasams, oh my God, ye pala. He died because he wanted to give his daughter's education and he never took care of himself. And you don't have the money, to go into that and do investigation specialists. And then he would lose his not work, so he would lose money. And so I was like, next year, wherever they sent me, I got admission again. I was at St. Xavier's College, but then for medicine school, I had to go somewhere in Maharashtra. Wherever they sent me, I went. In a train with my mom who dropped me. I didn't know this place. It's a place called Khamgaon. I didn't know this place. But I said, this was my father's vision. He wanted me to help others. But he died because he didn't get that help. And so I took that train to Khamgaon and I did my homeopathic medicine and surgery there 4 years. Mm-hmm. But you are fortunate that you're Tibetan. Tibetanness, you're very lucky in that sense. Piba chikke sawa chinera. Kirang ma chik yor ta gyaram chiki di na blessing ina khari na chik yor. Nga phane pale tu nga mi changmagi, oh, she's different. Tau tangma khachen dongma logara chama gyara. Ani difference in yang nga lobchung la otsyor. I made my way through. The first year, we were a batch of 70. Only 7 of us passed. Mm-hmm. And so then we went ahead. Then I got scholarship. And 4 years. The first year I paid my fees, 3 years off. I got scholarship. The principal, the trustee, the principal, so then we were good friends, we studied, we did our internship. Then I went to do my doctorate. 3 years, I got scholarship there too. So it was good. Blessing. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I was an MD in homeopathic medicine and surgery. So health was something that I always loved. Mila. Mila but Changju Sem Jira, di Nganjugi ingrained your Chidangne. You have to be really bad at being bad to people, mm-hmm. right? But I think we all have that sensitivity and compassion within us. We just have to tap into it, mm-hmm. and we'll all be nice. Mm-hmm. No. So that's how I went into do my medicine surgery. Then the Changsagyam Nilere. I was an assistant professor in a medical college in Bombay before I came here. Anita dela lenata kharchu health because I young pesha young medicine school do young. So then I said, well, I think I'm going to go into nursing, and nursing lado I've never looked back, and I love nursing. And then yeah. So I did 4 years of my bachelor's. Then I did my master's. Then I did my nurse practitioner certificate, and now I'm a nurse practitioner.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm 48 now, but I think I must have studied at least 25 years.
Oh, less.
26 years, maybe 25 years.
Things ina and the Kala Kuranzo Kisinas na in a day mutuni chedo chiore sunguda.
Your accelerated program. Yagan nurse mena. Nurse hina. So that's the internationally educated. The RNAO ki mangbo di lega china the College of Nurses ki di chigi orta. So you have some programs, kirang program kashi chiore, and then you can get accelerated. Kunjo experience daw chi lengore dela mengang da mandanangla. And then you can work as a nurse. But the experience like the gauge because healthcare system is different, things we do differently, and I think cultural sensitivity training is really must. Nursing is different in Gaga. Nursing is different here. And I think Ngala will also agree with that. Nursing in Gaga, first of all, the nurses are not well taken care of. Gaga nangla ra. Kajin nga doctor chine de ro nga ha ko gi. Nurse in zone la ta chumma do chi menial task do chi and use chi re Gaga nangla. Dela in the yomar. Nurse is a powerful person, a powerful professional. Canada la. So you have to really take good accountability and good responsibility ki krang la di job ra resene. Nurse ki job. And nurse practitioners, I don't think nganzu kyala nurse practitioner here, but we have nurse practitioners here.
Re. Nganzu emotion but mangbu shuj kyagani ta chike khwai ne le kunzu nurse ki lopjon che pengi manguda. Lumbu khot ne nurse ki lega ditis and
most trusted. Always a global survey the most trusted professional. Forget about healthcare. Most trusted professional nursing first 10 always. And that's because you share that bond, that therapeutic relationship with your patients and their families. Ani di chine kirang Tibetan hi sine kirang compassion chile it trickles down into your job, and that's why innately we are all nurses. Instinctively, we all become that. The nurse, he nahi, main nahi. Nganju chik la rokpa chiye, da chik sem shoot, chile duda. They are best suited for the job. I would say, kerang mi magana ra, kerang nursing job chigumar. Mi la gaye, da rokpa chiye di magana, then don't be a nurse. It's not for you. Because it really, and it's a lot of investment, emotional investment. You connect with people and meet the tong and the chikchena, and it's susulai chikchida. But nanzu di gangla ya churna ne lagida, tong na shida kawage yomare, kajane di mitapa dira. Yeah, di nganzula training yapurta. Chur chinarata. So machina ketelo.
Asla so the nurse ki men dinang lola mengang ki dinang chale gyurung puna so la nyamnyung shu cheshu anya mixe gi chik memorable to mixe khat do chuna
so different tanga nurse chiduranga St. Mike's la go to imba and I was in heart and vascular surgery heart surgery shula nimachik tanga on my night shift, I was just walking around. I was charge nurse, and I walked to the. Ani ngi ngoshimba nebaji khasangi ngi assignment re. Ani ngi kola hello laga doing ra. Ani nurse chamba junior nurse chimdo. Ani hello laga do ko and the day desha kup kya gangla. Ani hi Lhamo, how are you? And the daw lasta. Ani kota deu mindu khajik hinsaw tu something. Are you okay, Lane? Kogi ming suppose XYZ. Are you okay, Mr. XYZ, Lane? And Kogi, I'm okay. I just feel like I'm short of breath, Lasra. An on-call doctor, cardiac surgeon, Galamichiresha, Sass Lane, Dr. Sass. I still remember, we great friends. And I said, something is amiss. And so I called Sass and I said, hey Sass, on this bed, Mr. XYZ, I'm not having a good feeling about him. I really want you to come and check on him. And he called heart surgery chitasre. And he was about to go home the next day. And so Sass said, Lhamo, it's because it's you, I'm coming. But I would not take every nurse's call. You know that, right? Constipation. Can you call for Senocot or just cannot sleep, sleeping pill? And they don't call cheated, surgeon. But he knows I don't call just because I want to call him. And so he said, okay, I'm going to come. So he came. Room nala dogi midi risa. Harichirisana. Kola lamsa the doctor. Tanganzo samayor. Pick up chi and you patient. immediately we got an x-ray done because his oxygen sat was going down. We got the x-ray, then x-ray nangla the chumang which is size and the tongues ra. So then what the hell is that? Then the CT then dinala pas kang do chest nangla. Ani pas the accumulate cha ne ta ko usagir. And koloniti gangla sha. And Sat said, we can take him to the OR right now. We need to drain that pus. It's called empyema. Empyema right now. So, now on the bed? Yeah. So then we got surgical instruments. I remember the guy was so scared. But I was standing by his side. I was holding his hand. And then the other nurses got onto the other side. And scalpel chiki ani kunjogi dela pok chisa sinchi dinane na nakpo pok sene doyjo ani digi gas digi my god, it was like hydrogen sulfide, but it was a bacterial a fungal mix or organism jira pus collection di doing tane. All the time I remembered was the guy holding my hand saying I'm kind of scared, and I was talking while they were poking and doing on ditung samsra. My God, like Nanzuki lega. After he was patched and everything was done, I thought, in my reflection, I thought Nanzuki lega di khatsu kechimur. You always have to be there. Gesi nge kechishega madonna. Gesi nge Dr. Dilake matanga. Gesi he would have coded. Right then and there, and call me Gembara. Code cheatane. The outcome is very poor. Every time you code lana blue lana, mean they stop beating, right? In response to infection, in response to a stress, and chasivara. Me khatsu Gembayona. Ani code cheatane. Ani me thangma CPR chigira. CPR china ko already shakche tangyore. Ani ko ni thangma dukjaira already in a bad state. So I was like, oh my God, the thing is, I don't like to take my job lightly.
Wow.
Right? So that was something that I will always remember. He came back, he thanked me, but God has put me there for a reason. Right? That's why.
Yes.
Yeah. I think I got a little goosebumps. 네.
아주 지소는 걸로 있으나 된다. 맹간랑 찰렌랑이 망고도. 그런서 당랑서 찰렌랑이 망부지 소소 내지 찍라 레자스나 안디 따템보도 도스전 다랑 대고로. 디 강라 미세기 무튼이 찍 디 강라 줘야기 배준나니 디스콤보도. 다질라 소소야 찍찬 찍 된다. RNAO presidency 주디 직 랑라 마테와치 relation comfortable chini 마테와치 단도 무튼이 직 제대해 주라. 된nen가도 컨테스스.
Did actually personal journey ram sangmala tanga di lagi me ki nga di chi biore sine khirang di chi and then nge laye me ra. This is my personal choice. But as human beings nganjo sama grow chi nganjo sama we have to grow, develop our thought process. The lobjong kharchini chigiore sina nganjo yonde ya puchayla ra lobjong machina ikira yonde yor ra you have your own skill set, but I think it's important lobjong chide kharchin lobjong ani lobjong ki kira yonde manga dugyore, and then you open up to possibilities. Right? It's important nganjo opportunities khari yore di hakor. Ani lobcho machina, our brain also tends to get stagnant there. Ani nganjo ti comfortable nangla de dena ta khaduna comfortable yoye bara. But life is all about risk. The bachelor's of medicine, if I didn't take that train, had my father not died, right? I would never have become a doctor. If I had not thought about going into doing an MD, I would never have gone to another city. And ngal the scholarship rare dinga lagi da di nganjugi lucky, like Tibetan luckiness ra. But that opens up to opportunities. I wouldn't have become an assistant professor in a medicine college. And the gukap mena aninga Canada leke mare. And they in the Euro. So everything has a purpose. But then you also have to be very mindful. You don't take the pressure of going to school and trying to do more and more just because you want to impress people. Do it at your pace. Do what makes you happy. But if you are never going to try, you're never going to know if this is for me or not. You have to try. And that's what I say. But pressure yo mara mi chama and the chigore tanga di chire sina tanga ngawala. When are you going to bridge to RN? That's an opportunity. But if he has the wish, he will do it. Some people say, oh no, I think I'm okay doing an RPN. That's their choice, right? But if they don't try, they will never know. Life ki priority loga ra. Beach ninganchu lagi ra. We meet you where you are. We don't want to force you. And Buddhism ended ra middle path. Mila no mekena, susu path la de dena jiye. Everything is nga bet ko na religious fanatic meta. Hangmo na dilaw to nga chuku dang lama dang and it's hangma gang lata respect your kushabi but gyaram bichu mato nga shira duba metra di nga practically we have to respect our tradition, we have to respect our teachers, lama, tuku, everyone. But blind faith chiye yomar. Tinga lagi ra. But how Buddhism influences your way of living is important. Because that's not a religion, that's a faith that guides your way of living. Di chineta chige meet enjoy attract chagida. Because it's not saying you do this or do that. No. It's saying meet at where you can.
I think this is a nurse practitioner today. The sopochimpoche genki ora. The gangla so pugi amla chagura. The taking as a tunang training, so looking on training. Sosuki palala the cook up the machunti, so mutini, tirang, lopson che, zukosura, and then ashing cutting tunang tindesunguda. So Korea Talon Chunsel, Tilatin, Maumba, Pugutola, the purgation, Tidiki Chidu, Bezunangis, Tapuni, Karal Times, Puni Jumata.
Yeah, the did wrong and to change up to that ga chitana denera. Nganjuta kalorita susu richung malai ti khatuna ni attempt chide jo ti phama gi direta nganju phama gi pekkale ga dila chotangi amar and dijine ama gechungu ama lobchon yoe tang ama samlo yakbo yoe di pe gechungu khajene. You know, you can have a good father, but ama is very important. Ani yorimichigi sungida first teacher is my mother, and that's how it should be. That's how it is, you know, in the society. Ani nganjo amlagi nganjo chinjine yarga chuti kapdu nganjo la mankot tangir. Nganjo la kichitina mi samagi oh kirang shija hawane resin. Nganjo shija yomar. Nganjo Bombay la digyora. Nganjo shija me resin. Oh shija me kyore. And it always lagado. So always like discriminated in some nganjo gyaka chitsona la dena oh they are different Nepali chinki chichi lane. Put us in a different bracket. And nganjo shija la dena kinjo hawane Bombay wala. And it always love yang nganjo love discriminate like cultural conflict, identity conflict was always there on the top of my mind. But what connected is nganjo amlagi yarka chuti khaduina pebechitona la tang ne shija la tang nganjo pingya ande yore. Then one of my cousins here, her mother was also my somo. Ani kunjogi nangla done. That's 2 months of Tibetanness. Right? But that was good enough to keep us for the whole year. Right? Nganjo peba yis energia. The chick samlo legida nganjo phebai nganjo logai ani ende mangbo chungso that thobo thong chagi college la Putin 저기 나 결혼하님도 가우치기 임배 and 다우죠 but 디도잉 간주 삼로 엔데다 no 간주 배바징님도 두기 배바징님도 창사경이지 디 가와넬레레스네 디 간주기 exposure네 간주 아마기도 라요 마라 오 엔데 마치라네 라요 마라 but 디 간주기 삼로 가르친레레스나 간주다 배바지존알 도데레 간주 배바레스네 하고에 디 게치무레다 디 and you know life is about choices you make choices when you want but for me it was like that and then of course shula da ngazu da lobchon chi gaga lobchon chi medicine ji and gugabrayo mar di 정말 da de ngai this pangdo ngai sisters injada Advocacy will learn to learn Tibetan but for me it was difficult because nga medicine college la ra ngala ta pick up for me I'm like kalakshar bens barabar I don't know any p nothing but nga pheke khale chahe gi nga go to treasure ani dishula nga Canada nge husband ngimdole tu nge husband amdora ani pheke gap de tu nge dewa gi indigenous culture la nge thongsura ani khatu ina government gi kalab nangyo di nge haku susu pheke lana suzu rikshung la dugres pheba yimba di kerang cho di khawane ke gangne di nge peshuk chumbu thongsong khalchene nga delalene indigenous midin jogi life thongra and some oh my god nganzu indigenous re but we are displaced from our own country dela indigenous midin jo dewala dene khunjo khandes mewa chagiore di nge thongs because colonizer the settlers in jogi khunjola language di mewa soda khunjola lapta tang same like how they are doing to Tibetans in Tibet right they're sending them to school they're changing the whole history by eliminating the language and it's the same story here and I thought oh my god that was like 15 years ago when I thought what Gyawarinpoche keeps on saying is so true now I have my own kids my but so important to pass them on ngi ke di mena pugudi la khari rikshunga lap kore what are you Tibetan how are you Tibetan what is different right and the preservation of culture is only through language and scripts and di chene di ta une gebram chula deva yona di kalab di follow chi di pege chumres ani nge samlo khos nga gu marana kemer ra tanga ta chizana la this do then nga ngarangi Tibetan representation on another level chi tibare ra but nga ngarangi pugu din jo yang nama khile gire pugu khile kunso language mena and a lot thoma pheba
ra ta kunso tanda ya lobson la de ra
re kunso ta 진짜 중일라 출래기래 but 근처도 벽에 부이 정말 약고 쳤어요 and 디 게치무르 땅은 니 근처라 Advocacy will 가르치는 샤레라나 근처 I don't want them to feel entitled right I want them to know what life is all about the example I can never teach them this because I've never been in that ra nga pebalabde dome nga hostel adenu mi shemba dinjo ga mirigimdo mangbo interacting you but to live as growing up you know when you're a teenager to know what other people what privileges you have what privileges other people have or not is important kajin ende chine nganju ta che ta di changma ta khali le dugura but mi yakpo chai di pe gechu mi yakpo khandes chaw ra when you see suffering through other people right I heard someone say Buddhism is about embrace suffering. I don't agree with that. It's about embracing suffering but making that suffering as an opportunity to help other people. You don't want to suffer, but you know, I think you want to use that opportunity and you know, a lot of people, good people have done that. They've had setbacks in life. But kunjogi the opportunity bechutangna mi shambala khandis pentogiyore mi shambala khandis impact shigore di kechmur and mi shambala empower chi di kechmur ra kunjogi khandis chire di kechmur
no the Bhuchung dia ke what tanga ba.
Yeah, logics nang latangi.
Wow.
Yeah. Tami ngi pu somalities hyperactive rela so. Tangan jo tam ende tana to pheba bu chama hyperactive inside. But I don't not call 1 year I just want to give him some strategy. Kharjine you know, much as you want to send them to Tibetan school, I don't want them to feel it as a forced decision. Ngi pu gemba ngi di joe di nga longi ke chishede kunjala. Kerang kharchene dogore. Kerang gi joe gi gyumze khare. Because that's a personal investment. I want them to be engaged in that decision making, not like old parenting style where get on the plane and you get off. Kharjene kunjo ya sembanala o nge phamagi ngala abandon chi sun la ejio. Di parenting style ding sa ding marta. Di kunjo la ke chishe gore. Ta this I think nganjugi lab ki ore pugula thoptang te mang te shalan. Di mer the thoptang te gore but kunjola understand chichur. This is about communication. Kharchene jogore nganju rikshung kharire thunda kharire done pha kharire and give them a deadline. Kunjo chulegira niti ha. Di jau tang niwani di na kunjola ke share. The logics na nina la kunjo prepare chagina and kunjo oh do it race just because I said it and they dig maro.
No.
Nganju this Tibetan parenting style this loga gore ta.
Yeah. Yeah, so yama ten kami kalangan some chungsra tinang. Sonsang at tenda ajala soso ki misi ki caption da nyamnyong ki thonera. Ngazu jizo nang lo mixe tingsa mengan chale nang mangu da. Ndere ya mangu ba tinde na ki tyoba yoba ngire. Tenda tinde kan lobjon nang ye. Tinso la soso ki nyamnyong thone kunjal lamden rosh karnang sar.
I not dichibulai. You should be open to opportunities and open to risk taking. Risk le di gechumbure. Kharchine oh tanga lobchun chinge togidu but nga pesha dangi yona mena laeja nga chinge togidu but nga ta nga changsa gyagoe ani nga puguke gire ani china mena. I don't think you should do that. Just act on it. And kirang act china and changma lamga changma it'll open. You just have to start. Because I think we mull over doing it for so long that the opportunity is lost. Opportunity comes only once.
Yeah.
It knocks on your door, you open the door and you take it. And this is how we as Tibetans, as refugees, right, everywhere we've flourished. Because opportunity lende. Sadala swede chonggoyana chonggire, chik sagangla lega chigoyana chigire, nganju khari chigoyana chigire. But at the moment, we just act on it. And dichane nganju ende shida oh di tiki mindu, ani nganju confident mindu, ani chigyo nganju ta chige mi dinju ngimdu doe this thergi do in the chairman. You are your own self. You represent. You bring you. You be you, and third. And that's it.
Yeah.
I sit on big leadership tables. I never think about all that. I have to speak my mind. But you have to be respectful and sensitive to other people's needs also. Fine line here,
My cousin did Nima COVID cups mixing. COVID cups so it's like the front line rang the challenge. The COVID teacher DJ lang zuki and the mixing nursing line chura. They like Cuba shook chipudo in the Tunguna.
Ontario la lagi hai.
Chitang ni chiyongki as a career.
No, I think COVID did that. COVID ra. Dingela SARS yora. Dingela some other disease. Dingela TB yora. And you ever did that. Chitang the up and down the yung degre. The nganju the nursing profession in a healthcare profession in a then nganju di ha ku gore. Susu self care is important. Susula taya dipe gechumbuere. Yeah, it is our responsibility to take care of people and Mila caregiving is important, but I think we have to start taking up care of ourselves. Kharchene a lot of times COVID tiki kharche resenata so Ontario jigbu jigi ke lagi da. COVID kap to we all rose, we all worked, we all did everything, and we should be fortunate we had the money, right? Nganju lega yore, ani nganju pesha yore. Of course, risk yore, but the kerang nganju ki lega right? Mi shemba dinjola lega yomar. So nangla dechiv de, right? Kunjo means of living yomare. So we have to be grateful. Like let's look at the glass half full rather than half empty. That was an opportunity for us to understand perspective. Ki khari ge chimburesna. Take care of your own self. Yes, we had a job. We had to take risk. That was our job to do. But then we all have to start taking care of ourselves. Life is very unpredictable in general. COVID or no COVID. Diri nga yore sangi nga mer. So you have to live in that moment. Mila no make mila chik khagi dikpa machi dima to mer. Mare?
No. No, nga zhe yang ma kame tuni dinang khalang zon tsusra. Yang susu aja susu yi dinang lawa dinde dinde lawa ta mangwe ri ne chiki han dinang lo la kechimbu dinde.
Ta kechimbu ende khalor. Kechimbu mangchu lapsa danga ngarangi korla khalla. I think it's important nganju tawa jiora nganju tawa di belief lagiora. I just want people to say not to do like blind faith on anything. Phebachi nala dippe mangwer khari na chikla blind faith chiye di o nganju di chokpa di nala di chokpa ki khari lam na gain di gal na nganju sangma di korang gang la doi chia herd mentality lai chia ti nganju chicho nangla pe mangbuda herd mentality chiye yo mai. You always have to be non-partisan. Non-partisan not in terms of political, but also in terms of views. You have to listen on both sides, not just jump to conclusion. Ani tinga gechim tongdura manjugi as a way of thinking. Like we reject ideas even before it starts forming, just because one head of that thokpa says so, right? And I think we have to evolve. Khajine Kevarambuche Yogi Nganjula Pe Mangbo, we have so many opportunities because of His holiness, right? Because of His identity that He shared with us, and we carry that. And I think that's important. I mean, we have to think long term how we have to preserve our tradition and our culture. And Gyachimbu Samlotai Pegechmure. Kevarambuche Krong Sungyora. We talked about Buddhism as a scientific religion. Why? Because this is how we are going to show evidence. Right? The science of happiness, the science of compassion, the oxytocin that is being produced because we show affection to people and all that. So, but he gave you evidence that this is all this. And that's why evidence both sides of the view nge di pegech mo anga tawa thakpo chine digmar pichi lai
ja la so achla ani nganzu tagi achla sungna shire nganzu ta pheba nyinyu re de impane pheba susung ranzu jizo nanglo la ya shungi chale na ni konso yore ta sammo shung nanglo shungi yo mare je du marwa ya achla achana shin ta jizo nanglo la ka shi jizo ma tyenje je 안주기 페퍼 리프레젠트에 대한 레벨 카가지라로 직지정도 그냥 파르마치키지제 베베모 되레 드네가 잘하는 거를 선서들랑 이제 상에 투지 스트레체 안된다 딱 고진도래 무티니 아니 잘해 간는 거네 람노에 면남제 에 뭔가에 권이 제일 있습니다 안티 뒤에 권이 포트스
Okay, yeah, okay, thank you.
라고 동호 민스티체 투지체
thank
you so much. 그거 나오는데 또
좋지.
그래서 또 잠시만 남아라.
그래.
너서 저 투지체. 너서 행인데 가셔라. 너서 하고 되게 중요하다.